Solid Snake and Meryl Silverburr versus Screaming Mantis and Frog Corpses and Meryl Silverburr.
Tired of wasting all these good rations I got at Shadow Moses on all these stupid, infinitely respawning fights. Stupid. And I hate it.
Snake.
There she is, Mantis.
Snake. Run! I know your wavelength. It brings back memories.
It can't be. Meryl, don't!
Johnny!
Akiba.
Meryl!
When the hell did you get here?
Wait, Akiba!
It has been a long time, Snake.
You, Psycho Mantis.
No, that was another me. Can you hear the screams? They cry for battle. Let me hear you scream! Howl! Roar! From the very depths of your soul! What's this? I see.
gonna buy new. I'm gonna buy more bullets for this thing. Any hints?
It looks like conventional weapon attacks won't even scratch Mantis.
Really? I hadn't noticed. Any ideas?
Sorry, nothing I can think of right now. There must be some way, though.
That was a definitely strange fight. Her own dolls used it. She's creepy, if nothing else. Sorry, lady, we already got it crying. You're not psychic, you just control nanomachines. So she jumped just to fall down.
I hear them in my head. The screams! Make them stop! I don't want to hear them anymore! I'm scared. I'm so scared. My head hurts. It hurts. I'm sorry. Have mercy. Let me out of here! I can't breathe! Get out of my body.
I'm not in your body.
Forgive me. Set me free!
Get away from me. that's the end of the female war beast. Come on, Drebin, it's time for you to chime in. Oh yeah, that's nice.
Excellent, Snake.
Was some.
Psycho Mantis.
You don't seem to believe your own eyes. Very well. I will show you the power of the world's greatest mind reader and psychokinesis. I'll start by reading your personality. Rather, your past. That's right. This is no trick. It's true power. What? Where is your data? Where is it saved? There's no memory card. Damn, your skills have improved. Or rather, your hardware.
Psycho Mantis, you haven't kept up with reality.
Witness my psychokinesis. Put your controller on the floor. Put it down as flat as you can. That's good. Now, I will move your controller by the power of my will alone.
Even put in there.
The spirit of the warrior will always be with you.
Seems like Psycho Mantis couldn't hack into the PS3 after returning from the land of the dead, but what he can do is sit there and watch as I throw out the scores. Gameplay. The final War Beast is actually an odd duck of the other three, with her specialty in attack is actually just preventing her from getting shot with conventional weapons and also attacking passively by controlling the dead. Yes, Screaming Mantis is actually a master of voodoo fighting with the two dolls that she keeps by her side that allow her to puppet around the living and the dead through nanomachines, so this fight is all about the ads since she has the infinite defense, and on top of that she has the shadow weakness. A trope covered all too well that lead players running blindly around in circles trying to find a foolish answer for how to beat the witch in front of them. Coming so soon after the vamp fight that also had a shadow weakness found in the immense piles of extra shit that the player had been collecting the entire game means that there are just too many possibilities of how to defeat her, and that's going to lead players into confusion and frustration. But the answer isn't even in Snake's pockets, it's actually in hers. See, she attacks with her two voodoo dolls, and they are the tiny targets that can actually take damage, detaching her mystical strings from their forms, allowing Solid Snake to pick them up and turn them around on her. Now this shadow weakness is a dick move, but the subsequent realization makes up for it a lot more than you think it would. See, once you figure out that her weakness is her own voodoo dolls, she goes down inside of a minute of constant psychic barrages. Damn, that voodoo is some powerful stuff, but this fight still has major mechanics issues, leaving it at 4 1/3 Triforces. Story. The last War Beast means it's the last story from Drebin. Screaming Mantis was born into a small village in South America where her village was eventually burned to the ground by enemy death squads whose efforts had separated her from everyone she knew. In order to escape death, she took shelter in an abandoned building that later turned out to be a torture chamber for captured villagers whose constant screams drove her mad, along with the water available that kept her alive. Later, she began to hallucinate and saw a single praying mantis that taught her how to survive through cannibalism. But she ended up only engaging in male cannibalism, just like the praying mantis she was learning from. Later, she had been captured by Liquid Ocelot, and through genetic treatment to become a war beast, her mind had been replaced mostly by what remained of Psycho Mantis because her original personality couldn't handle the treatment, since it was already broken from her experiences. Now, the story is shown off rather well. Her behavior in the end sequence, speaking with Psycho Mantis' spirit, as incredibly difficult as it is to actually believe, blends with the story as its only connection to reality, along with her mastery of puppetry that mimics Psycho Mantis' usage of it, along with Meryl Silverware back in Metal Gear Solid. And then there's the infinite defense straight out of Psycho Mantis' playbook before switching ports, so it's all wrapped together, but honestly that end sequence was unnecessary, stupid, and a waste of time, trying to make nostalgia the utterly wrong moment with the only thing resulting from is a near laughable failure of Psycho Mantis to control then current gen technology before he's lost forever to the winds of time. 8 2/3 Triforces for the new incarnation of Psycho Mantis. Fun. Well, unlike the Vamp fight where he was incredibly easy until an arbitrary point where he becomes an instant death machine, Screaming Mantis has a slightly high difficulty that is constant throughout the entire fight. The adds that get thrown in are usually in minor numbers that can be dealt with easily by the syringe if running out of bullets. Trying to figure out what the hell we're supposed to be doing, and not giving Screaming Mantis a direct attack mechanic means that we get some breaks in between to actually think, unlike the Vamp fight. However, as much as I'd like to call out her shadow weakness as 100% BS, all I can really do is say about 80% because it's one of those things that is hidden to a terrible degree. It's one of the only unique mechanics coming from what you're fighting, so it is going to be found out eventually. Other than that, this fight is really awkward, fighting constantly regenerating normal enemies while Screaming Mantis is able to instantly dodge weaponry attacks, and then having to deal with running to save Meryl a bunch of times is itself another problem, and overall makes this fight itself seem strange and alien, having to fight a horde while the boss itself just floats there. There is no catharsis in this battle, since the Psycho Mantis aspects of this fight are kept in as a final in-game joke rather than presented during the fight itself, and in that case, I'll give it a 5 2/3 Triforces here. Screaming Mantis is another boss fight trying to ape another mainstay of the franchise, also from Metal Gear Solid. Psycho Mantis, who was the quirky psychic soldier that gained cult appeal by being one of the strangest and most unique, adding in the unprecedented control port switching mechanic along with creepy fourth wall breaking multiple times. However, just like Crying Wolf, you just can't create the same success that past bosses had just by trying to copy them, because just being psychic wasn't enough. She also had to be a voodoo puppeteer that fights with corpses rather than furniture. Failing to even make the same lightning bolt that Psycho Mantis did to such an extent that Kojima actually added in Psycho Mantis himself in order to further show off that failure and create a nostalgic moment that, just like the disc flipping cutscene in Shadow Moses Island, doesn't do much more than create an annoying obstacle and wasting a minute of the player's life. This boss gets a final score of 18 2/3 out of 30 that shows off that it has problems and its gripes, but it comes together as being slightly unique amongst the War Beast peers, with probably one of the most graphic of backstories with its sole use of cannibalism as a plot device, because honestly, put cannibalism into anything and you rack up creepiness based on that alone. A shadow weakness put inside of an infinite defense, put inside of a nostalgic shell that completely fell apart when being hit by her own weapons, and one I wouldn't soon return to. Well, with Screaming Mantis being the protector of Outer Haven means that the final boss is up next. We're getting to the end of this 20-hour monster, and hopefully Liquid Ocelot does not disappoint. I'll see you there for the thrilling conclusion.